We have breaking news, the developing story unfolding. Unconfirmed reports are coming in. We will bring you the latest.
IPOB pay you? Are they paying you to do this? Because that's the answer many want to, to get.
I'm separating it from the issue of Biafran separation. That's not my interest in talking about this whatsoever. But it is an indictment of the tyrannical lawlessness of this administration. Here's the facts. First of all, even Nigerian courts have said the branding of IPOB as a terrorist group is bogus. There was never any due process. It was just a proclamation, and there's no evidence to support it. The United States doesn't accept that. I don't believe any country outside of the cadre in Abuja actually believe that it's a terrorist group. They did that.
No other country has prescribed IPOB apart from Nigerian government so far.
It's first of all, it's clearly an effort to silence them. Second, Nnamdi Kanu carries a British passport as well. He's a British citizen as well as a Nigerian citizen. He was broadcasting from London. Never once, and it was challenged in court over and over again, there was never once any act of violence that is traced to any word that he spoke. Not once. There's not one act of violence that they can say came about as what he said. He spoke on foreign soil. And then he went to Kenya, does not have an extradition treaty with Nigeria. He was abducted, tortured, and illegally rendered to Nigeria. The Kenyan government said it was illegal, and they protested. The international community has protested. So, they come up with a bogus label of terrorist that nobody agrees with. They grab him for saying words on foreign soil that were not traced to any violence, and then they illegally render him back. They put him on trial under a law that had been repealed. His attorney kept saying, "Your Honor, what is the law? Show me the law. What are you being prosecuting for?" It does not exist. There is no law under which he was prosecuted. The old law, there was no continuation clause. There was zero legal basis for his prosecution. And then he was found guilty of what? Violating what? Simply offending the government is what he...
No, they said most of the things he said ignited violence and led to the death
of never proved it.
Security agencies and individuals and
absence. No law. That is called tyranny. When you can grab somebody out of another land and you can condemn them for words they said that you don't agree with, even though they're not against the law. And you can sentence that person to life in prison and transfer them to Sokoto, 700 miles from the people that were feeding him, taking care of him, 700 miles from the appeals court. Sokoto, it's throwing him in a dungeon. They grabbed a guy because they didn't like his words with no law, with no legal basis. They illegally grabbed him, a foreign citizen on foreign soil, and they throw him in a dungeon in Sokoto. That's tyranny. I don't care what tribe he's in. I don't care what he was advocating. That's tyranny. That's evil. And it's an indictment of this government. The fact that he's still in prison illegally is tyranny. That is tyranny. There is no legal justification for it. They never made the case. They never showed what law they were prosecuting. The government didn't like him, and they threw him in a dungeon, just like they did with the Israeli filmmakers.
Why do you think the government may not have liked him? Because many would say, some people who believe in him call him the prophet of their time, because most of the things he warned about the massacre of the people of Nigeria are today, the reality of most of these indigenous Nigerians. But so many would say that, is there anything he actually did speak about that hasn't come true? So what exactly is his crime? But why do you think the Nigerian government did not like him enough to ensure that he was duly persecuted?
Well, I'll talk about it in terms of physics. There's no such thing as darkness. It doesn't exist. It's the absence of light. They operate in darkness. They're evil people operating in darkness, and he was shining the light. He was speaking the truth, but they say he was just teaching history. He was just pointing out the obvious about the Constitution, about the founding of Nigeria, about the whole British machinery that they put in motion. That's what he was doing. And that's a threat to the powers that be, because it's the truth. And they can't stand the truth. They can't live in the light because they are children of...
Go and subscribe my YouTube. Hit that button. Don't forget to drop your comment.